There is a generational run going on in sports right now, and it's not even by any player or any athlete that is on a team or any coach or anyone actually involved with the sports team in general. The generational run that is being gone on right now is by Pablo Torre, who is a investigative journalist who does a lot of stories on sports. And he sort of like has recently blown up when he did the reporting on the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard, where apparently the Clippers circumvented the cap by using a non-profit entity to kind of pay Kawhi Leonard through that. Just and it was like $10 million or whatever. And this entire potential scheme was found out by Pablo Torre when he did investigations into the payroll of the Clippers. The one thing that caught my eye that he's doing is his investigations and his kind of analysis on the owner of the Memphis Grizzlies. And let me tell you, this guy who owns the Memphis Grizzlies is an absolute loser and also just an absolutely terrible human being, apparently, from what Pablo Torre has found. So the first thing that I saw about the Memphis Grizzlies owner that Pablo Torre found out was apparently he threatened to buy out all the minority owners of the Memphis Grizzlies because a woman thought that Justin Timberlake was the person who owned the team and not, this guy. And apparently the reason why is just because he met a woman or like he was going on a date with or whatever, and she thought he wasn't the owner because she thought Memphis or the Memphis Grizzlies were owned by Justin Timberlake, and he was so unbelievably embarrassed by the fact that no one knew that he owned the Memphis Grizzlies that he threatened to buy out every single one of the minority owners of the Memphis Grizzlies. And I think that's kind of like a really funny thing to do. Like, bro, you are the owner of the Memphis Grizzlies. I feel like just someone mistaking your identity for who you are is not enough for you to spend like hundreds of millions of dollars more to buy out the rest of the minority owners of the sports teams that you own. I'm gonna be entirely honest. I don't think anyone really could name or like identify who owns any sports team ever. Like you could probably see a sports team owner just walking on the street, and I feel like no one would know who they are. And so the fact that he like threatened to just do such a massive financial investment because he got embarrassed by a woman not knowing who he was kind of shows just how sad and like a terrible person that he is. And the second thing that Pablo Torre found out was that apparently this owner is helping fund Russians' war efforts in Ukraine, and he is apparently just participating in certain crimes against humanity. So apparently, he's a founder and CEO of this company called Ubiquity, and it's a networking technology company for long-range wireless equipment designed to extend internet connectivity in rural and hard-to-reach area. And apparently, what's going on is that his company is being used by the Russian army in their invasion of Ukraine. And one of the more consistent violations of, international human rights law and war crimes, probably only second to, Israel's actions in Palestine. And the fact that he's letting like the Russians use, their drone war technology or use technology in their war drones kind of just shows you even more how shitty of a person is. And so the fact that, Pablo Torre was able to find out these two things is kind of crazy. I mean, that guy is an absolute demon when it comes to just investigative journalism on sports. I don't know how he does it. I don't know like what he could have possibly done to just, investigate these people and investigate how the hell I don't know how he found out the technology that Russia uses. I'm assuming that they shot down drones and they just figured out, or they captured drones and they figured out what the communication systems were being used and how they were tied to and who they were tied to. And I think it's just absolutely crazy that not only is this person just an absolute goober when it comes to getting pissy that a woman didn't know who he was, but he actually is just actively participating in the slaughter of innocent civilians in Ukraine and just a absolutely terrible and unjustified invasion of a country. Obviously, like I wasn't surprised to see that a billionaire sports owner or maybe 100 millionaire sports owner. I don't know how much money this guy's worth. Actually, let me check real quick. I'd apparently Forbes estimates him at a net worth of $32.2 billion. Okay, so I'm not shocked to see that a billionaire is, an absolutely terrible person. Largely billionaires make their money off of just exploiting laborers and just completely not paying anyone the right wages or just using shady business tactics, evading taxes, and just contributing to society in like a way that it's just is worse. They make society usually worse inherently. Sure, they make these companies or whatever that people use, but like past that point, they kind of just suck in general. And like I'm no stranger to shitty sports owners. I mean, I'm a Chicago sports fan, so the Ricketts family aren't really the most morally sound people. I know they're absolutely kind of terrible. McCaskies are just old. Jerry Reinsdorf is just a fucking loser, and I hope he sells every single sports team that he's ever owned. And then I have legitimately no idea who owns the Chicago Blackhawks, so that's like kind of reinforcing the fact that no one really knows who the owners are. But I'm no stranger to the straight shady or shitty, sports teams owner. I think it's just absolutely crazy that this guy's directly participating in the war in Ukraine, and also that he threatened to spend hundreds of millions of dollars buying minority stakes in the company because he got mad at someone thinking Justin Timberlake owned the team. Which I'm gonna be entirely honest. If you think about this too, a lot of people know who Justin Timberlake is, but not who the fuck Robert Pear is. Like, I feel like that is not even that bad of a mistake because you would assume that a guy who has probably made billions of dollars, or at least hundreds of millions of dollars off of music, would would be the owner of a sports team. It's not surprising, especially like someone as big as Justin Timberlake. But this video has kind of just really been a shout out to Robert Torre and just his investigative journalism because of how just insane and how crazy the stuff that he's finding out is. And I hope he just continues to go on this generational run, just finding out whatever, however the hell he's finding this stuff out. I hope he keeps on going. And yeah, so I just wanted to, say I'm sorry to Grizzlies fans. I know your team is kind of mid right now. I mean, they're even worse than the Bulls, which is kind of a surprising thing because the Bulls are the epitome of mid. Even though they've been linked to trading for Giannis, which if they do that, I'll cry. Even if they trade away their entire team and still suck. Like I've said this probably multiple times during this video, I think it's absolutely insane that an owner of a professional sports team is actively helping Russia invade Ukraine. So I wonder what will develop out of this. Maybe I was gonna say maybe the NBA would do something about it, but they probably won't. I would be surprised if they forced this guy to sell his team. But they've done it before. They did it for that one Clippers owner. I don't remember his name for being really racist. They forced him to sell the team. So maybe they will force Robert Pear for murdering innocent civilians to force the team. But I'd be kind of surprised. But maybe they'll do it. But yeah, that's really all I gotta talk about today. I guess Robert Pear sucks, and who's surprised? No one really, because I don't know. Look at him. He kind of looks evil. And like the first picture I'm looking at on Google right now, he kind of looks like he sucks in that like full black suit sitting on an NBA court sideline. He looks evil. He looks like a villain who just is a goober. I don't know why I'm going in on this guy, but you know what? Now that I learned that he's killing people or he's helping kill people, I feel like anything I say about him is too nice. But yeah, that's all I got for today. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.